been discussing for the past 3 days, I think, straight. Not making any, so to speak, geographic headways. Is is providing a means by which we are earthlings, I mean literally earthlings, can relate and to a locus, the pshitus. The pshitus means not as a response to some kind of a need. Relate, I mean, that's already avoided, but to see that really is a reality is a phenomenal thing. I can relate to it. Right? You really have to really refine yourself in what the whole. But
what to see that? What is the reality?
To relate to a lakus pshitus. When I walk on the earth, That's what I need. This is what gives me support. So if I should then be from that recognizing you from the lakus, that is a secondary state. I mean, we should create the earth. So what's supporting me? The earth is supporting me. But the Rebbe is one who provided it for me. But what we are learning is not, it's a completely different perspective. The earth is not supporting me. And the Rebbe is not supporting the earth. The earth is representing the Rebbe's presence here in the world. And the Rebbe means by which it provided for the human being to be created. This is what we're discussing the last couple of days. The principle of Torah Eretz Ablima is a direct. It relates the Eretz directly to the Mevash, not as two separate things. Like we were discussing, this becomes so musuk. So the table is supported by the floor, and the floor is supported by the beam. These are different entities. But to say that the earth is supporting the foundation is incorrect. The earth is where it's supposed to be, the foundation is where it's supposed to be, and as a result everything is geared towards this reality. Mm-hmm. Like we said, just one more time, the reason that the table is on the is on the floor is on the beam, and the beam is is by the wall, and the wall is by the foundation, is because all of these things want to be on the earth. Everything, as we discussed the other day, everything is built in a manner that the center of gravity is, so to speak, is focused perfectly to be able to relate to the earth. And the earth is what? Ablimo. This is the Mebesh's presence. This Mebesh's. This is the Mebesh created. This is the Mebesh's. This is the reality itself that the Mebesh provided for the human being. Al ha'oretz, thereby enabling him to do Torah mitzvahs and everything else.
I mean, the statement essentially, Torah Mitzvah, is that the world doesn't need to be supported.
Right. we distinguish, I think clearly, a big difference between support or the reality itself. This is the way it's supposed to be. It's a completely different thing. Like we said in pshitus, you're a guest, yeah, you're a welcome guest. You're a member of the family. And you're being invited, and you'd be allowed to be there? No, you belong there. Like the prince, the story with the prince, yeah. It's completely different story. And this, as we pointed out, this gives us such a clear understanding of what we are constantly repeating. Kriyas Yamsuf. What happened in Kriyas Yamsuf? Oh, the Rebbe made a big miracle. He shattered the whole earthly perception. He showed his ability, his koiches. That's true, but that's to show with the Mitzrayim. That's for the Mitzrayim. They should know what I can do. For the Yidden, it's a completely different story. For the Yidden, it was a statement. You are the real people. It's a completely different thing. The whole thing was concocted in order to bring this out. Eden didn't have to be Mitzrayim slaves. It was all instrumentalized by the Meibushim himself in order to bring out this state. And that's clearly, this is what brings out okay.
So over here where we say Masig ve'Inyan Haleki, the Chachma point of this is it's all the same. Everything we're bringing up, whether it be Kriyas Yamsuf or Taylor Sablima or everything, all the Chachma aspect is the same. It's the Eibishter's presence is defining reality. In terms of Masig and Bina, it's now we have it in terms of in Kriyas Yamsuf, in terms of Taylor Sablima.
Because the hasoga, like I said, this word, that everything is an Eibishter does not bring out midas. It swallows everything up. Bina allows midas. This unit that allows midas is a phenomenal thing because it allows the Eibishter's presence in the world, and that's what the creation is all about. To be mevarer and permeate worldliness itself. Okay, enough of this. We'll still have we have ha-haskalah. We have a very ha-haskalah class. All of a sudden we're going into our way, but take it easy, right? All right, so now we are actually on the line that begins with Ahava V'yira, but the second one. There's three lines Ahava V'yira. Ahava V'yira, Bi Ahava V'yira, and then Ahava V'yira. We are on this third line. V'chol ha'toya. Okay, everybody has the place? V'chol ha'toya. L'chesed u'gvura. This is on page Nuhei. Any ha'toya, any leaning, which means identifying with chesed or gvura, it is affected and been brought out from hasogas or inyan, from actually comprehending the inyan. Hasoga, what hasoga actually means, like I said, comprehending and apprehending, really getting it. Not something I say it's clear. No, getting it on the personal basis. That's Ahava V'yira. It permeates the person, and the Ahava V'yira actually defines the person. This is who he is. The Rebbe once told the story that there was a group of Chassidim of Fabrengen. This is in Russia. Mention Russia is enough to mention for people to understand that everything there was what was serious nefesh. A group of Chassidim verbringt late into the night, and whatever they discussed, they were worrying themselves. And then they were walking home, and in Russia, a group of people together walking is a crime. You're not allowed to congregate. What's going on? So a policeman accosted them and says, "Kto idiot?" Kto idiot means what? Who is there? In the middle, and it's dark. Kto idiot? And you better answer. Kto idiot? So they answered, "Beetle idiot." Beetle idiot means beetle is walking, because they were so permeated with nothing. Beetle idiot. Okay. But Hashem, they got away with that this time. And thus, bebino yesh hiskalos hamidos. This is why. In bino, there is hiskalos hamidos. Follow these words. In bino, there is hiskalos hamidos. V'hui and ha-haskalah l'chesed u'gvura, which is the principle of hatoya. Haskalah Amidus means that there is in Bina there is a sense of this calls for chesed, this calls for good, this calls for ahava, this calls for yira. The inyan his spoilers sichli, and there is also the inyan of his spoilers sichli. Of his spoilers means being affected and inspired on the seichel dike level. In Bina there is this. It's even though it's pure seichel, but it's this is the seichel that has, so to speak, a personal stake in it. You experience the seichel. You don't only know it, but you experience it. When you spoil the seichel. In Bina there is a thing when you spoil the seichel. And then the Rebbe clarified, the hagam shezehu b'seichel adayin, but although that this is still in seichel, and seichel is not midas, what is the difference? That's what made the difference between chokhmah and bina. Seichel and midas is the similar difference on a different level. Seichel means I'm interested in the truth per se. This is it. Not that he spoils the effect of it. That's what the principle of seichel. They call it for the objectivity, the getting to know the truth because it's true, not because of what its effect is. So therefore, nevertheless, in bina who bebchinas his spoilers, in bina the same seichel is bebchinas his spoilers. The same seichel that's in chokhmah, in pure seichel, in bina there is an element of his spoilers. Why is there an element of spoilers? It's the same seichel. The answer is because it's being apprehended. Oh, I see it. Not this is, I see it. That's a name for his spoilers. And his spoilers already has an amount of midas.
What does it mean, hiskalos amidas?
Hiskalos means incorporated. In Bina there is the hiskalos amidas. The way the Rebbe presents it is so clear. You have to be careful. Okay? In Bina there is hiskalos amidas. What does that mean? Bina? The hiskalos amidas is first created in Bina. Why? Because there is a need for his spoilers. Why is there a need for his spoilers? Because I get it. Yeah, I see it. And if I see it means I personally see it. If I get it, then what does it mean I get it? Yeah, I get it. Chokhmah also, I can, on the contrary, in Chokhmah you see the truth.
But Chachma, you can't say, I get it.
Right. Oh no, but what's the point? I get it. Yeah, you're right. But again, you're going back to the I. It's not the emphasis on the I. The emphasis is I get it. What do you mean you get it? Get it means that this principle of the godly presence actually hits me. Which means I get it. Like we said before, after you understand the Indian from Paltiel and Tzabulimo, you're no longer walking on the earth. As an entity. Walking on the earth means I found a place where I can walk. It means walking on the earth. It's like I discovered something. No, you're walking where you were put to walk, where you were created. It's yours. It's a completely different concept. This means I get it. Again, it's not the I, it's the getting it. It's coming down into the world, the parameters. This is his place.
But I would think that the I also has an equal...
I'm sorry?
I would think that the aspect of saying I, in terms of I get it, also has an equal role to play here. Because again, on the level of Chachma, as unadulterated as the truth is there, but there's no sense of self. In order to access that, you have to nullify yourself to that emes. So as wonderful as it is, there's no sense of I get it. There can't be hispilus if there's no sense of self. So as soon as it comes down into Bina, where there's now the bittul of Chachma is withdrawn, and now there's a sense of me in approaching this concept on the level of seichel that I recognize. So there can be hispilus. I can become excited.
See this right, but you have to understand the self element is foreign to us. This is the logic that is being presented from time. The reason I feel the table because I feel it. No. The Yin from Bina is equal to Chochmah in terms of being identifying with the truth. It's not the
Rabbi Paltiel?
Yeah, yes, but just 1 second, I want to clarify this. So it's not the I get it, it's get it. Which means it permeates the Mitzias. It actually affects the Mitzias. Yes, Boris, go ahead. I have a to explain. Go ahead.
Well, I'm coming from a different place here, which is probably out of line, but anyway, what the heck. This getting it, so we also talk about that in relation to Das. Is this connected to that, or this is already way above that?
This is way above that.
So what makes this getting different from the getting it of Das, which
This
is
is
also...
still a sichli.
Pardon me?
This is still a sichli. Although this is sichli.
And Das is not a sichli?
Das is beyond the sichli. Das is when it becomes personal.
Uh-huh.
That's why Das is considered, Das is the intermediary between Seichel and Midas, actually.
And here we're still talking in just the Seichel itself.
That's the Seichel itself. Bina is pure Seichel.
But our point here is that from this kind of Seichel, you could have Midas. There's a scholars of Midas.
That's right, there's scholars of Midas. That's where you need it in Bina, there's scholars of Midas. Why? Because there is in ha-haskalah.
This isn't real Midas.
No, this is not real Midas. The scholars are Midas. This can create Midas further down. Through Das. Das is where Midas are created.
What did you just say about Das?
Das creates the Midas.
Das is what?
Creates the Midas. Das is where Midas
So
are created.
what's the difference between the ha-haskalah with the Midas, which you said is from Bina, in Bina, and because usually when you say Das is the ha-haskalah.
No, Das is das relates to midas, but it's das is no longer on a pure sichli level, like midas, like Adar, like bina. Bina is a pure sichli level, but his colors are midas. And we explained, this is what we have explained the whole week. We spent the whole week explaining. Why is that his kalos are midas in seichel? Because ultimately, seichel represents the truth of the reality of the nefesh. And the nefesh for sure feels this. This is what nefesh is. And this nefesh element is ultimately reflected in the midas element. Like we said each week, and that's Chassidus, he talks about that Bina actually is rooted deeper in the nefesh than Chochmah. This is not, I don't want to go into this right now, but this why? Because in Bina is reflected the reality of the nefesh. All right. Okay, let's go further. Ma shein kein b'chochma. Whereas in chochma lo yesh adayin hispoilus. In chochma there is not as yet hispoilus. As we pointed out, we had this adayin several times. Adayin means not it's unrelated to it. It has not yet developed to that point, which means the yin is there, but it has not yet related to that degree.
So mice is rooted deep. Mice is rooted deeper in the nefesh than all the koiches of nimim.
Maise?
Mice.
Well, let me tell you this, Naftali. It's definitely the truth, okay, to this. But this is such a jump, it won't help you to understand it at all. This is essentially, I don't want to let you hang, this is essentially what we were saying all the time, all the way back. Nasa v'nishma is the deepest level that even can come. Nasa is mice. It's a huge jump. You have to try and stay within reach. That's why it says, "B'chochma lo yesh adayin hispoilus." There is not as yet hispoilus, meaning what? And in chochma there is also the midas inherent. Chochma, as we said all along, chochma is not an imaginary thing. It's not a projection. Chochma actually relates to the truth of it, to the truth of the nefesh. I want to get this across. Avraham Avinu was walking around and saying, "Yesh b'labayis lebirazu." Yesh b'labayis lebirazu. Is there balabayis? Is there an owner? Is there a master to this edifice? What made him even ask this question? He sees the bira. He doesn't see the balabayis. What made him see this? What made him ask this question? This question represents a perception of truth that Abraham saw that came straight from his neshama. Like we're saying all the time, nothing can be there without a mocker. What is this whole reality without a source, without a basis? This is what he's saying. And this is so much administration, way beyond what you can observe. But this reflects itself in the Chochmah. Okay. In Chochmah lo yesh adayin hispoilus. Ki what then? In what manner do midas manifest themselves? Show up in Chochmah? Bebchinas dveikus. Ki mishikose b'makim acher. Bebchinas dveikus. Not his spoilers or dveikus. What does dveikus mean? Dveikus means cleavage, connection. Can we project what that means? In Chochmah there is inyan dveikus. In other words, please understand what this means. I'm observing something. Chochmah is an iyah. The iyah, right? Chochmah, you say, it's like sight. Sight is a distant thing. It doesn't touch me. I don't touch it. However, somehow it beckons me, and I connect to it. What's beckoning? Because it is not just the surface that I see. I see it through and through. I see that this is real. There's a living entity there. This is the sight of Chochmah. This is why it beckons, it connects you, dveikus, you nisdabek to it, because there's something really, there is a reality that connects to me and I connect to it.
Is this related to Histaklus?
Histaklus is the, in a certain sense, yes, the histaklus, but the histaklus is the sichli element of it. The dveikus is the midas element.
Did you say dveikus is the midas element?
Yeah.
But I thought we're saying here that.
Go ahead.
Talking about where in Chochmah where there's no hispilus, there's only dveikus. So we said hispilus is kind of like, hispilus is that which lets us know that from here can come midas. Masha'ein kain in Chochmah, you don't even have hispilus, you have dveikus. So that would make me think that dveikus is talking something which is totally unrelated to midas. But you just said dveikus is midas.
Okay, so that's good. Please be focused on it. He did not say there is no midas in Chochmah. He said there is no hispilus of midas. And the whole time we're pointing out, hispilus of midas are dying. In if there is midas in Bina, there has to be midas in Chochmah.
We said that his kalos amidas was created in Bina.
His kalos amidas, that's the idea from his spoilers. His kalos means there is
Reunion.
already an incorporation. What does it mean there is midas? Again, let's. I'm bringing that on the whole time. I'll give you a very simple example, which we discussed many times, not in this context, but it's interesting. We can understand things from the negative. We said the Gemara says that somebody who is sightless, who is blind, doesn't have a Yetzer Hara. So you say, why not? Why not? All the taivas that a person doesn't do by sight, he does it by whatever, by touch, by taste. What does the sight have to do with it? What's the explanation? So we said that the Yetzer Hara is not a fool. It's not stupid. In other words, yes, he wants to have a taiva, but he has a taiva to something that's real. Sight is what gives it a sense of reality. You want something? Yes, it's real. It's really there. It has a pulse. It has a neshama. It's real. And if it doesn't see it, it's not real. It's just what's called a ha'ora, a facade, a form. A form. The biggest fool doesn't get attracted by the form of his life. You really have to be sick of this. You know what I'm saying? This is not normal. So when we say there is midas insight in Chochmah, means that there is a sense of reality. Except in Chochmah, the reality element, the truth of it, is what's primary. Not the hispoilos animals. What then does Chochmah affect? The Vekus. Instead of hispoilos. Hispoilos is where it becomes a mitzias. The Vekus. There's something real over here and you can connect to it. If it weren't real, if it's just a nice appearance, but it's not real, it wouldn't be Vekus. So the midas element in Chochmah is it manifests through the effect to the results in Vekus. In Bina there is points. In Chochmah there isn't.
This Vekus.
Adayin hispoilus, leyesh adayin hispoilus, kirim bebchinas Vekus. K'mishikos m'kibak.
Just gonna say, does Vekus, is that like a stira to midas? Does that prevent the person who's davek? Is that somehow also? So midas seems, or bina seems when it hits him. But the Vekus is when he's going out of himself. It would seem to be like.
That's right. In order to be mispoiled, you have to be beetled in order to be affected by it, and by Vekus you have to be beetled. But Vekus, the beetle of Vekus is much deeper beetle than that which affects his poils.
I don't
One
know.
second. I have to finish this sentence. We just finished saying before that Tzias Mitzrayim. What is the message in Tzias Mitzrayim? What affected in Tzias Mitzrayim? And the miracles and all that. It's not the show of force and all that. It is the giving us the sense, telling us you are for real. You are at a godly level in this world. You're not just creatures crawling around the earth. You are at a godly level. Okay? In order to be mispoiled, in order to appreciate that statement, you are at the godly level. There has to be a profound beetle. Whoa, wait a second. Am I an entity? Can I go and enjoy myself? Can I take credit for anything? In order to be mispoiled to this Indian, there has to be profound beetle. That this truth, this is what defines who I am, and that is the only thing that can define who I am. He defines like who I am. In other words, I am a Mitzias, but I'm a Mitzias because this entity said I'm a Mitzias, not because I'm a Mitzias. This is what we say all the time. We speak in terms of a person must maintain self-respect. And lahavdil, any, therapist will say you have to have self-respect. Are we talking about the same thing? We're not talking about the same thing at all. They are talking about self-respect relative to other human beings from the earth. You're walking on the earth. You have to be proud that you can walk, whatever it is, or you can throw a ball. The respect that we're talking about, you are the Meibershins of creation. You know what to represent. Represent the truth of the godly truth, and therefore you must guard it. Like you are a shliach from Rebbe. That gives you a sense of self-respect. The self-respect. This is the gift that you were given. Not that he spoils our midas. Yes, of course it's he spoils, and it's yeshus. But it's a completely different kind of yeshus. It's a yeshus that you have because of what you represent. I always point out, I got into this, I want to have a clarity. There's an interesting halacha, I think I mentioned it in class already a couple of times. The halacha is that ein mechabdim bebeis hakiseh, or ein mechabdim bebeis hamerchitz. Kibut, to give kavod, is appropriate in a mokim mechubot. A mokim mechubot. What's a mokim mechubot? A place where the Rebbe is present, where you can say Adar Torah, where you can say Adar Shebekdusha. It's a respectable place. But Zakisi is not the mokim mechubot. Nobody in his right mind will go around and say, "You know what I can do?" Like little infants when they were children, when you train them, the toilet trained, we make a big fuss about this. But no one beyond that stage can possibly take pride in the fact that he knows how to go to the bathroom. Pardon me, I have to bring it out clearly. Right? There's no self-respect element. On the contrary, this is we say that that when it says in Gemara it says we don't do it. The Gemara says when a person is walking and he has to break away and go into the bathroom, right? He says to Malachim that go with him, please excuse me, you don't know what earthlings are. We are earthlings. We have all kinds of requires that you don't even know what it is. You have to excuse me. It's chabdu mechubodim. I'm sure you saw it we don't do this, but this is not a respect. This is not a moment of self-respect. Where is self-respect? Self-respect is when you daven, when you learn, when you do mitzvahs or whatever it is. And then something of significance. Those are the pshat. His spoilers hamidos is directly related to recognizing and appreciating where these midas are coming from.
I thought we were talking about his pilot Sichli over here.
In Bino it is still his spoilers sichli. But there's a his spoilers. And his spoilers is already a different midas. It's not the real midah the way it is in later on in a lab. But there is his spoilers in Bino.
But this is something we can all relate to. Like when you're learning something and you hop it, you get excited. You're excited that you I don't want to say it in such a way that it makes it sound like it's just a statement of like ego. But not that I got it, but it got me. It got me. It finally got through. And you're like, oh, it finally got through. Like there's something.
There are different elements in spoiler sichli. The Rebbe, Friedrich Rebbe, speaks about this. That sometimes you go through a seichel and you misboin and you go through the entire seichel process, and then you're mistaken. And Baruch says you look at the seichel and see the wonderful structure that seichel allows you to climb on. This is his spoilers from the sichli, not the single. That's not his spoilers from the midas.
That's what we're talking about, right?
No, exactly. Yeah. This is not midas. He says is hatoya li'imino lismoil hatoya. This is not a name from hatoya. This is possibly spoilers of the sichli. This is like the spoilers of the miracle of Kriyas Yamsuf, just for its own sake. It is a mind-boggling thing. There's no meaning. Meaning is that we went through and we see him around. There is a name for midas. But the fact that the Rebbe showed such a Ayin, the complete effacement of nature is something which is spoil in unto itself. Different is spoilers of seich, within the seich. This is not his spoilers are midas at the sichli level. This is mamash spoil from the seichel itself.
So it wouldn't be, oh, it got me. It would be, this inyan is a real. It would be the feeling of the particular inyan and the significance of that inyan and where in my life and whatever.
Right, and even that requires beetle. Like we discussed just now, like we said the other day that the Rebbe Rashab said about Achad Ha'am, that he would stand by Kriyas Yamsuf, he would not be affected. He doesn't have that much that beetle at all. In order to have that as far as you also have to have beetle. But this is not.
And why is it so important for us to understand these distinctions that you're stressing here?
The inyan for the spoiler sichli that we just now touched upon is not something that I focused on because it was something that this is where people understood the inyan from the spoiler, so we had to clarify. But the spoilers hamidas, that is an important thing. Even though it's midas in seichel, or the whole element that there is hatoya lemin lismoil hatoya. It is important to understand that these his spoilers come from the fact that I'm dealing with something real that is not merely an apparition, you know what I'm saying? But this is reality. It's real, like I said. The Yetzer Hara is not enticed by something that's not real.
So the way you're describing it right now, it sounds like spoilers sichli doesn't have this element of reality of it. It's more like
does.
It does.
Yeah, because how come he's spoiled? Even though sichli is completely, like the Rebbe is going to explain, even though sichli is beetle, But even there is enough hispoilus. In Chochmah there is not hispoilus. It's such total bittul there is veikos only. And in Bina there is enough hispoilus. But as we're going to see right away, a qualifier.
But I'm not sure I understand, before you move on to the qualifier, what the dveikus is. I mean, hispilus is something I think we can understand. At least I think we can relate to the idea of excited about the beautiful structure of an Inyan Sichli, the complexity of it, even the chitzenius of it, that it's wow, it's what a thought, right? But what does dveikus mean?
No. Hispoilus, but truth what I thought, you're talking about again about the Sichli element that we just now said that this is not what we're talking about.
Hispilus Sichli?
This is the plane of the Sichli. You're spoil of the Seichel.
Yeah.
You're spoil of the smarts of the Seichel.
That's Hispilus Sichli, isn't it?
Yeah. That is spoil of Sichel. That is spoil of Hamidas on the Sichli level.
Well, which one is it talking about here then?
It's spoil of Hamidas. Let's put it this way. Okay. Like I said before. I'm sorry, but let me finish this.
Yeah.
Kriyas Yam Suf is a phenomenal feat.
Mm-hmm.
Any human being in his right mind would be misfelt. Look what's happening. Look what the Rebbe should do. That is policy.
Okay.
The fact that that the Egyptian were drowned, and even were brought across, and that the whole thing was concocted for that purpose. I think should recognize, hey, they're drowning and you're going across. That's his person.
In Seichel.
It's still in Seichel. It's still in Seichel. This is his person. When you recognize, this was all concocted. The Midah itself doesn't know that it's concocted. That he speaks plainly. He actually experiences it. In Seichel, you say, look what this whole thing was concocted just to give me the message that you're going to go across and the Egyptians are going to drown. That is not as far as I know. In Seichel.
And then the union of dveikus.
The union of dveikus is the union of dveikus is, like we always say, the principle, like the reality of itself, that like the principle that there is a reality in the world. The world is not from the Big Bang. Yesh balabayis l'birazu. Yesh balabayis l'birazu. That's dveikus. When the balabais comes down, and he says, not only yesh balabais l'birazu, but you know something, you are given a status from the perspective of the balabais. That's midas. Why? Not the ego, because you have an element of that balabais in you. Not the ego element. What was Avraham Avinu looking for balabais in you? Why is he not satisfied with the bira? The bira is a beautiful bira. What was Avraham Avinu looking for the balabais? Because the bira may be very beautiful, but what is it about? What's the point? Like we said many times, you have a world, a fully developed world without a human being. It's beautiful. Come spring, the whole world lives up. Comes winter, the world goes to sleep. Look what's going on. Nothing's happening. Why? There is no nakuda, no point, no balabais. It represents nothing. And as we, even now that we have gone through this whole process, there is no mokoir, there's no basis, it doesn't represent anything. There's no mokoir to all of this. Since the time is late anyway, so we're not going to be able to further. I want to discuss this a little bit. The contrast between the way we see our connection to the earth, and lahavla, I should say, even though it's not really the idea of the gravitational pull that holds us to the earth. If you take that seriously, and you say to me, yeah, that's all it is, then really becomes, it was a horror story. Which means, I'm on the earth, but it's insignificant. It doesn't mean anything. I happen to be, why not? For no reason at all, I'm just happy to be here. I was floating around in space, came around the Earth, and the Earth won out against the moon and against all other little things around, and pulled me into it. Well, so therefore I'm here. Right? So to do it. Remember, I said it's an interesting thing. We have to put Rahman al-Sam, an individual, a human being, who does not know who his parents are. There are people like that in our world. He doesn't know who his parents are. Please understand, his parents may be criminals, may be terrible people. It still doesn't compare of not knowing who his parents are. His parents are criminal, but terrible people. He has a job to correct their faults. Mm-hmm. He belongs here. He doesn't know who his parents are. The world has no stake, has no meaning to him. Who cares what happens to this world? I didn't come from this world yet. I just fell into it. Like I said, this kind of person can commit a crime in such cold blood, like as if nothing happened. Literally as if nothing happened. Because he has no stake in the whole thing. He doesn't belong here. The Vekus is the pshat, yes, it's real.
Can I ask my question?
Yes, Baruch, sure.
So, it seems to me that the thread running through here, maybe I understand different what you mean by real now. I have to get out of the room that I'm in, I'm sorry. Midas is where, whatever it is, you have a sense of the reality, wherever the level of midas are on. And reality means it's here for a reason. It's not an accident.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from the ultimate intention. Intention maybe is another better word. Reality is you have a sense that there's an intention. And this is what midas relates to. Is that something
right.
like what?
Right. And this intention is coming from from this is the important reality. It comes from a source. It represents the source that is absolute truth.
It's coming from the most egregious. So this is why we're saying that Bina, Midas, are actually rooted higher than Chokhmah, because they relate to the intention.
Right.
Is that true?
Yes, that's what it says in Chassidus. This is a whole discussion of Chassidus.
So the reason somebody who doesn't have parents is lost is that he doesn't have any sense that there's any intention. It doesn't seem it's real to him. Because, look, he doesn't have parents.
He has no roots. As we explained the principle of roots. He is on the surface, literally. When he walks on the earth, he's not walking on the earth, he's walking on the line that leads him any place, someplace. Like we discussed the other day.
Like the dog.
Like the dog.
You can't blame some of them for acting
No,
like dogs.
it's a horror story, right? It's a horrific thing. You can blame, but that doesn't mean that you can let them destroy the world. Unfortunately, that's what it is. All right, this is it for this evening. Call to, gute Nacht, sei gesund. Okay, so now we were up to here.